a lot of anxiety, and this had never happened before, right, on U.S. soil, at least in my lifetime or all of our lifetimes that, with the people that I was with. But backstage was just really, people were, it was a tough time. Hey guys, welcome back to another video here with Dr. Shawn Stasiak, former WWE and WCW superstar. And you know what? I got to talk about this because this is really cool, man. I mean, just this past WWE Monday Night Raw, we had a segment with Jinder Mahal, who did a fantastic job playing an Indian heel, crapping on America, insulting, disrespecting America. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, if you smell what and the roof blew off the arena. Here comes Dwayne Johnson, The Rock. And I'll be honest, it was electrifying. I had goosebumps. I thought it was awesome. And it took me right back to the night that I worked with The Rock during the 9/11 SmackDown tribute show 22 plus years ago. Because on Monday that we just saw with Jinder Mahal and The Rock, it was very patriotic. And because of the climate of this particular country, there's a lot of tension, a lot of divisiveness, just politically, and just the things that Jinder was commenting on. I think a lot of people might even agree with that to an extent. It was a little harsh. He was playing his character role, being a heel. He did a great job. But I just thought that because of that fact, because that is the current climate, and WWE's known over the years to play up with current political, events and climates around the world. So he did that with the Iron Sheik. He did that with Nikolai Volkov. He's done that with just Sergeant Slaughter. So it's a smart move when it comes to playing with emotion and intertwining or paralleling reality, events and points in the world into a scripted format. And I just think it makes it that much more real, and you really invest your emotion into it. And I love the segment, and I love the segment that I did with The Rock 22 plus years ago because I got to work with The Rock, and also I got to play a character role that was, yes, the comical relief of the show. Maybe I wasn't crazy about it. To be part of that special night, to be able to put smiles on faces, to be able to make people laugh for a couple, for a moment during my segment. Then I did my job. I did my part. I played my role. That just was the parallel. That was the connection that I made on this past Monday night. And there's a part of me that actually missed being in that ring. I missed being part of moments like that, because that's what life's about, right? It's about creating moments and experiences, and that's even what wrestling really is all about: creating stories and creating those special moments. And Monday night was a very special moment for the patriotic connection, but for me, even more special because it took me right back, like it was yesterday, that I played the role versus The Rock in a very patriotic night, being the very first live audience of its kind since the 9/11 attacks. So it was something that I just felt that was worth mentioning, and I figured that this would be a fun video, a reflective video, and hopefully ultimately you walk away from this feeling inspired, entertained all in one. So I learned about the 9/11 attacks when I woke up on Tuesday morning, September 11th, 2001. Of course, I had been on the road. This was a Texas loop. It all started on Saturday in Dallas. I worked with The Rock, of course, and Stone Cold Steve Austin that night for a house show, working on that skit that everyone later would see on the tribute show. On Sunday, we were in Austin, Texas for another house show. And then on Monday night, for Monday Night Raw in San Antonio, we had the Raw show. Now, I wasn't featured on actual show, but I did do a dark match or my skit with Dwayne after the show, and I had done we had done our little skit again in San Antonio. So I'm traveling back to the next town, to Houston, which was SmackDown was scheduled to go live, SmackDown Live. I traveled with Chuck Palumbo. I believe Lillian Garcia was following us, or we were I don't think she was with us, but she was traveling solo. So we just wanted to make sure she was safe. And so we basically traveled together to Houston. So when we all checked in to the hotel on Monday evening or wee hours of the morning, Tuesday morning, I went to bed, woke up the next morning, going to do my usual, get my coffee going and get down to the fitness center and get a light workout in. I flip the TV on and I see, I believe it was the first plane that went into the North Tower. That was the first, plane going into the building. And I thought it was just, maybe an accident, a freak accident. It was all over all the major news networks, of course. And, but it was still quite daunting. And, it's somber, man. It's like, this is crazy that there's a plane, the building's on fire. And so I think everybody was just kind of, went down to the fitness center and did my thing. But still watching, the monitors on everywhere through the hotel. And everyone's just kind of talking about it and exchanging information. And then all of a sudden, though, when the second plane hit the South Tower, I believe it was the South Tower, the second building gets hit, from the second plane. That's when we all knew we were under attack. We knew that this was a terrorist attack. And I remember specifically going back down, everybody was like, at this point, everyone's like in, I wouldn't say chaos, but confusion. People were wrestling talent, personnel, this is like the company TV hotel that everyone was staying at. So everyone's comparing notes and what's going on. And, I guess it was chaotic, right? But I remember going into the fitness room and seeing Vince McMahon in there. And I remember him just sitting on the floor with his back up against the wall, just staring at the TV monitor during the CNN network, feed, or it was, I don't know what news it was, but it was a major news network. And he was just sitting there, just nodding his head and discussing those bastards. And, I think that's how we all felt. But we really didn't know what we were going to do. We were supposed to have a show that day. And so we were just hearing word that it's going to be canceled. Or are we staying here? All the airports are shut down. Where are we going to go? Everything, like businesses shut down. So we were just told to stick around for at least a day, and there would be a decision made whether or not they were going to run, the show the next day. For that day, it was canceled for that Tuesday that we were originally going to run. And Wednesday rolled around, and I think it was later in the afternoon or in the evening that we were still wondering, still waiting for the word. And we finally got the word that the show must go on, and it was going to run the next day or next night on Thursday. So it was September 13th, 2001, 2 days after the attacks. We were the very first public assembly of its kind, the first live audience of any event, period, whether it was a sporting event, a concert, any event. We were the very first since the 9/11 attack. So when we were in that building, man, it was a mixture of emotions. I mean, backstage, of course, there was a lot, very somber. It was very depressing. It was very confusing, and there's a lot of anxiety. And this had never happened before, right, on U.S. soil, at least in my lifetime or all of our lifetimes that, with the people that I was with. But backstage was just really, people were, it was a tough time. But at the same time, ironically, it really brought all of us closer together, really like one big family, to be honest. The people that you were already close with or that you traveled with, you became even closer. The ones that maybe you didn't care for. I mean, in this business, you don't have to always like the person you're doing business with. That happens all the time in this business. But it just made you realize it's unfortunate sometimes there has to be a traumatic event or something of that nature to take place for you to just bring things out into what matters and what's important. And I think that just brought us all together closer regardless. So there's also a feeling of patriotism too, and just being proud to be an American and to live in this country. And the decision or the thought process behind Vince's idea to go forward with the show was just like when he gave that tremendous speech before the actual, at the beginning of the SmackDown tribute show.
We will not live our lives in fear.
Everything he said, he felt.
By God, the citizens of the United States are not afraid.
Is that, hey, we're going to move on. We're going to carry on. We're not going to let these people affect our freedoms. We're not going to let them affect us putting on a show and entertaining the fans. And if anything, we're going to, make our point that our lives are going to move on. We're going to be that much stronger. That was the idea behind that. And then, of course, Lillian Garcia sang that beautiful national anthem of just being on that stage with all the talent up that ramp right in front of the Titantron, and then Lillian singing that national anthem and having that American flag in my hand. However many people the Compact Center hosted, I don't know, 15 to 20,000 people, but it was loud, chanting USA. I felt mixture of emotions. We all had fear. We didn't know what to expect next. It's like, is it safe to be here? Is this building going to be, is it booby trapped? Like, what could happen? Are we safe? Is it secure enough? Who knows? But I know that I felt deep down like, I'm here only so long. We're all only here so long. And it's like, if I'm going to go out, man, you know what? I'm going to go out with the American flag in my hand, and I'm going to be patriotic, and I'm going to express my respects and my love, for this country, for what we're doing here tonight, to bring us all close together in love and unity, and to inspire and support one another. And that's what that night was really about, was to really send that message. And I think we did a great job doing that. But yeah, to hear the chants of USA and to be part of that, I felt so proud to be there. At the same time, I was frightened, had anxiety. We all did. It was a mixture of emotions. But like I said, backstage, I think everyone felt a sense of closeness, and we felt more really like a family. We're already kind of traveling family anyway, but it brought everyone really close together, even more so because of that. And of course, working with The Rock that night was fun. We had been working on that skit for a while, and it seemed to get a good reaction on all the house shows, and it certainly did that night too. It was pretty popular, and people still talk about it to this day. So I'm just, even though it wasn't my favorite character, it was the laughing stock of the WWE. But hey, again, if I could put smiles on faces and take their minds off of, like I said, the grief and despair and the anxiety and the fear we were all feeling, it was like, man, I did my job, I did my part, and I'm just very proud to be part of that night. That night is very, very special. And I'm just grateful and feel blessed that I was part of that, regardless of what character role I played. I got to work with Dwayne Johnson. I think that's pretty cool. And I'm very proud that, I was able to be part of that. As far as going over my skit with Dwayne backstage, I mentioned this in my last video. I met Dwayne when I was 10 and he was 8, 1980 in Portland, Oregon, when we met at the Crow's Nest at the Portland Sports Arena during, Don Owens' famous wrestling territory, when Rocky Johnson, his dad, came through the territory, and worked with my dad. You can look that up on YouTube. There's some, matches and some content there. But that's when I met a young Dwayne Johnson. And then years later, fast forward, we'd be working together. Not my idea or what I would have thought how we'd work together, but we end up working together. And so being part of 9/11 SmackDown's tribute show, first public assembly of its kind, first live event since those terrorist attacks, I got to work with him. It was awesome. So backstage, it was easy. We already had the skit down. It was pretty simple. I got to know him a little bit more because we were, worked out a couple times, went to the gym together. I think it was the night before, a couple nights before that tribute show. We went out. It was with the Dudley Boys. It was Rock, myself, some couple other people. Went out and had a nice dinner. I think it was in Austin, Texas. And yeah, man, I just was getting more familiar with him, and it was just, it's best to get to know the people that you're working with. I think when you create a rapport or a good relationship with that person, it makes working with them funner, and I think it makes the quality of work even better. So I would have liked to have gotten to know him more and was able to work into some more of a serious storyline or something that could have made some money together with. But he's done pretty well for himself, I'd say, and I'm proud of him, honestly. So when I saw the segment on Monday, just this past Monday in San Diego, when he made that surprise appearance and faced off with Jinder Mahal, because that was a patriotic moment, it's like, wow, brought me back to that night like it was just like yesterday, and I was like, wow. Again, made me very proud to be part of that patriotic night and to represent not just the WWE, but to represent the United States. Kurt Angle winning the main event, I mean, you couldn't have put it on a better character, Mr. Red, White, and Blue, Mr. USA, gold medalist for America, Olympic hero, right? I mean, that was a no-brainer. So I thought it was really cool to put a stamp on it and to send a message that, hey, we might have been knocked down, but we're going to get back up and we're going to be a stronger country, and you know, we're going to come back even stronger. So I thought doing that with Kurt was perfect. And then, of course, you know, we having The Rock and Stone Cold working together as a dark match treat for all the fans that were there. That's just extra credit, man. That's just a bonus. That's icing on the cake, you know. And those guys loved each other. They, you know, they're a great relationship, personally, backstage, professionally. They had great chemistry, and they probably really enjoyed working together, even though under unfortunate circumstances. But yeah, I think you couldn't have had a better tribute show and a better message sent to give all the fans just some hope and encouragement and just love and support. And how it felt, really honestly, was just like, it really felt like one big family. You know, the when you're standing there on that stage and you hear the chants of USA, and it just brought everyone so much closer together, even strangers, people you don't even know. But it gave you a sense of, wow, it's unfortunate that a lot of times in life there's got to be some traumatic event or some tragedy that has to take place in order to reveal that, for you to let that veil down, right? To peel the onion back, to let the walls down, to let your heart, your compassion, your love, you know, to come together. And that's what happened that night. So it was more than wrestling. Wrestling was almost really like side window dressing. It was, you know, it was really the main reason of having that show, and was to entertain, sure, but it was to really bring everyone closer together, not just everyone, all the talent, everybody part of the company, the fans, but it was just to bring America together. That was the message we sent. And I'm just so grateful and blessed that I was able to be part of that. So Monday night, this past Monday night on Raw, seeing The Rock come back out there, patriotic as heck, and working that skit with Jinder Mahal just brought back those memories. And I just thought it was worth sharing with all of you. I hope you enjoyed this video, and stay tuned for more to come here on Sportskeeda Wrestling.